Good morning, everybody. This is Malachi Buff from Nebraska Furniture Mart, and I'm in the home theater department with John.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here. Man, a lot of exciting stuff to talk about in the Samsung lineup here in 2025. One of the things that we're really excited about, we're here in the thick of spring, getting to summertime. Sunny days are ahead. You got to be excited about the sun.
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I think Samsung is setting out to do this summer is to help keep glare away, right? So we've got a lot of cool stuff that we're going to showcase here in just a few moments with our glare-free enhancements. But let's also talk about the things that make Samsung stand out in our lineup. So you're a big Samsung fan yourself, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I love Samsung.
So what are some of the things, just out of curiosity, what are some of the things that have stood out to you in the Samsung lineup so far this year?
Well, I really enjoy the OLED lineup. It tends to be our top sellers because, for one thing, they're very bright televisions. They are fantastic for putting in living room settings. They also have, depending on the one you get, an anti-glare portion on the panel, so they suppress a lot of the reflections in the room. And I mainly like, and we've been selling a ton of these, the ones with the matte finish on the screen, such as the S95 TVs. They've been selling a lot for people who especially care about having glare in the living room.
We'll showcase those in just a few moments. So, as awesome as all these features that we have are, Samsung likes to think we've got 5 main pillars that we call our Why Samsung pillars. So 5 big reasons that you'd want to choose a Samsung, because here's the thing, you got a lot of great brands here at NFM. And I think that Samsung has some really great features that help us stand out in that sea of brands. So for us, we start off with Vision AI. We're going to talk about Vision AI a little bit more at length in just a few moments. We also have endless content. Every single Samsung TV that leaves the store, you're going to get over 400 channels of live TV. Plus, you've got Samsung Gaming Hub. Have you used Gaming Hub yourself?
Not yet.
It's so much fun. All you got to do is pair a Bluetooth controller to your TV, and boom, you're ready to go. You got Xbox, you got NVIDIA GeForce Now, Amazon Luna. Anybody who's a Prime subscriber, you're going to have free games on Amazon Luna. It's really a blast. We've got awesome connectivity features with smart things built into every TV from the Q8F and up. If you've got smart home devices, you can now control them from the comfort of your home. Imagine this. You're sitting down, you're watching the NBA playoffs, and someone rings the doorbell. Well, you don't want to miss any buzzer beaters, right? Well, you're going to get a notification right there on your TV. You can actually pull it right up. You can see who's at the front door, and if you have a supported lock, you can even unlock it from the comfort of your couch. It's like peak laziness, right? And Samsung's unlocking those features with our connectivity. Now, we talked about design. I think one of the design pillars that we're most excited about, we've been mentioning it a couple times over, is our glare-free technology. So when we talk about the S95, we're going to showcase that in just a few moments. We'll talk about the benefits of glare-free. But the most important pillar of Samsung this year is something we call Vision AI. So Vision AI is not just one thing. It's actually a package of features. So I feel like, a lot of people are using AI as kind of a buzzword. Would you agree?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is, AI, when used the right way, when we use it to just make your life easier, then we're in a good spot. And that's what Samsung's doing with our 2025 lineup. So Vision AI sets out to improve 3 different areas of your user experience. So you've got AI sound, AI picture, and AI user experiences. So let's start by talking about AI picture. What you'll notice on every single Samsung TV in the 2025 lineup, particularly on our QLED TVs and higher, is this new upscaling engine. So if you're looking at something like our S95, we've got 128 neural networks, super powerful processing that's taking anything that you feed into that TV, because, mind you, almost every TV that you sell these days is 4K resolution, right?
Right.
But what a lot of people don't know is if you're watching broadcast TV, if you're watching something that's over cable or satellite, you're probably receiving a 1080p signal. So that means the TV has to make that picture 4 times larger. And you can't just stretch it out, because if you just stretch it out, it gets all pixelated, it looks pretty rough, right? So we're using upscaling to give you the best picture possible. On top of that, we have AI that helps boost your color in a very, very natural way, because sometimes people will look at the colors on a TV and think, oh, that looks a little oversaturated, maybe a little cartoony. We're not going to do that here at Samsung. AI Color Booster Pro is going to make your TV look really, really great. Now, from a sound perspective.
Yeah, how's the audio? Do you recommend a soundbar?
So we always recommend a soundbar, but even without a soundbar, we've got some really, really cool features. If you've ever been in this situation, you're watching an action movie, and you can't hear what the dialogue is going on because there's explosions or there's car chases, there's sirens going off in the background. You have to turn the volume up, and then some of that noise goes away. You turn the volume back down, and you're just wrestling with the volume control up and down and up and down. It's so frustrating. I'm sure you've had that experience before.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the cool things that we've done with our 2025 lineup on every TV from the Q8F and higher, we're going to have a feature called Active Voice Amplifier Pro. Now, what this does is it actually uses AI to create virtual tracks within what your content is. So let's say you're watching an action movie and you've got those explosions going off and then you've got the dialogue. AI will actually take that dialogue, strip it out into like a separate track and boost it so it matches all the other dynamics. So now you can hear the dialogue and the action at the same time. Now, one of the other things, I think we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when we were in here kind of talking about the 2025 lineup. I've got 2 kids. Kids are really, really loud. And one of the cool things that this engine does, this active voice amplifier, it also helps with a feature that we have called, excuse me, why am I drawing a blank on the name? Well, we've got this really cool feature that is actually going to take that audio and lift it up when it hears a noise disruption in your room even. So active voice amplifier is going to assess the room. There's actually a microphone built into every TV. And the reason that we do that is because you have Alexa built into several of our TVs. If you want to turn that off, by the way, if you have privacy-minded consumers, there's a physical switch that you can turn that off. So if you don't want to use the microphone on your TV, you don't have to. But this microphone is going to allow you to monitor the room for any type of sound disruptions, and it's going to boost that dialogue when it has that background sound. Once that background sound goes away, dialogue goes right back to where it was. That AI is doing all the work for you.
And how are they for gaming?
So if you're looking at gaming, one of the other things that we can do with gaming and audio, we have a lot of AI-based features that can determine what type of game that you're playing and balance out that audio for that as well. So if you're playing something and you've got, let's say you've got an earpiece in and you're trying to listen to your teammates, that sort of thing, it's going to make sure that you're going to hear all of that dialogue crystal clear.
Okay, yeah. Do they come with the wall bracket? Is the speaker included? I think they may be talking about the sound bars.
Well, we'll get to sound bars at the very, very end.
Okay, gotcha.
At the very end.
Gotcha.
So one of the things that we want to make sure we're highlighting. So if we talk about some of the other Vision AI features, we talked about AI picture, AI sound. Let's talk about AI experiences for a second. I know we got a lot of sports fans out there. Are you a sports fan yourself?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So one of the things that I thought was really cool, I was actually in Southern California recently, and I was with one of our representatives. He's a big soccer fan. And I'm not much of a sports guy myself. I'm tall. I can't bounce a basketball. I can't throw a football. I have no athletic skill whatsoever. But he was really excited about this feature that we have built in called Live Translate. So we've been kind of spoiled. If you turn on your TV and let's say you pull up something on Netflix or Disney Plus, you pull up captions in, I don't know, a dozen different languages, right? So what about when you're watching TV over the air? You get closed captions, but they only come in one language. That's kind of a bummer. Right. Unless you have a Samsung 2025 TV. Live Translate will allow you to translate captions on the fly. For him, he was excited about that because soccer matches in particular, well, sometimes you don't find them on the English language networks. Sometimes you're going to find them on the Spanish language networks, but now with just a click of a button, he can translate them into English. So it's just another way that AI is seeking to enhance our experiences.
Active voice amplifier is great. What TV is that available in?
You're going to find active voice amplifier on anything that is in our Neo QLED lineup, as well as our Q8F, our QLED TV.
And do they come with stands?
So everything that we're talking about today does come with a stand. So that's something that you won't have to worry about with our 2025 lineup. Every TV in the lineup, with the exception of one TV we'll talk about a little bit later, our Terrace TV, which is an outdoor model. Every other TV in the lineup is going to include stands.
So what sizes are offered? What is the largest size Samsung that can buy NFM?
Well, we have TVs all the way up to 100 inches. And soon, stay tuned, there's going to be one even larger. More info to follow on that. And I don't have the exact launch date, but more info to follow over the summertime.
Okay. How do you clean the screen?
Well, it really just depends on which model that you are that you're looking at. So we've got a couple different models, and depending on if you have something that is glare-free versus something that is glossy. If you have a glossy TV screen, you want to usually just use a microfiber cloth. As dry as you can get it. Sometimes just one little spritz of a cleaner. Definitely not, Windex or anything like that. Denatured, not denatured. Just purified water. Distilled water is usually best, and just very lightly with a microfiber cloth is usually a great way to clean. So let's talk about, we talked about glare-free a little bit earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked about sunny rooms. Let's talk about a TV that's ideal for sunny rooms. We're gonna shift over here and talk about the S95F. So this is Samsung's flagship OLED TV for 2025. One of the things I absolutely love about this TV is just how well it handles glare and reflections. So right underneath it, you see another one of our really great TVs, the QN80F. I'm gonna do a quick demonstration and show you just how well this glare-free surface works. So I'm gonna turn on my flashlight here, and when I shine it down here, you can see that kind of pinpoint reflection, right? It still looks great. This is a fantastic looking TV. But if I take this up here, that reflection all but disappears. Now, mind you, my flashlight is still on, but you just don't get a very big reflection. So go back down here, and you can see that pinpoint light again. So definitely a feature that, when we talk about people who have those bright sunny rooms on a beautiful spring or summer day, this is the type of feature that I think can really elevate your viewing experience. Now, for a lot of folks, you mentioned OLED. They like the OLED contrast. They love the fact that this is an extremely bright TV. This is actually one of the brightest TVs in our lineup. We do have another one. It's not on this wall here, but we have another model called the QN90. Now, the QN90 uses a technology called mini LED. Now, mini LED basically means that instead of having your conventional size LEDs, which are roughly the size of like a shirt button, inside a mini LED, like our QN90, there's a huge grid of LEDs behind the panel that are going to give you an incredibly bright and clear picture. So those are just two of the options that we have for those super bright, sunny rooms. Now, earlier you were talking about some of the larger TVs.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting, and I'm waiting for the switch over. What size TV do you have in your home currently?
I have a 65-inch TV.
I have a 65-inch TV and a 75-inch TV. I actually just got an upgrade. It's something that I'm testing out right now. So 65 for a long time has been the best-selling size. And right now it still is, but it's shrinking very, very quickly. It's about to be overtaken by 75 inches any day now. So 75-inch TVs, when you're talking about the TVs that you're selling most, what's the most commonly sold size for you right now?
It's right around 65 or 75.
That's about what we see right now. Yeah. So one of the cool things that you're going to see with Samsung, every single model in our lineup is going to be available in sizes that are 75 inches or larger. So if you want to have those larger screen experiences, we're going to offer that. Now, the other thing to factor in is your viewing distance, right? So for myself, at a 75-inch TV, ideally, 7.5 feet back is your ideal viewing distance to get that cinematic experience. So it's a factor of 10. So let's say you've got a 65-inch TV. Well, a 6.5 foot viewing distance is going to get you that cinematic experience. 85 inches, 8.5 feet back. So the math is pretty simple. And fortunately, here at NFM, and y'all have a lot of big screen TVs.
We absolutely do.
Yeah. So some of the ones that I'm really excited to announce. So you talked about 98 inches. We've got a couple 98-inch models. In fact, 4 of them are available right now. We have our QN90F available in 98 inches. We have the QN80F. We're actually going to shift. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This is the QN80F right here. So I'm going to shift back a little bit. So this model here, the QN80F, is available all the way up to 100 inches now. So for those people that are like, okay, I got to have the biggest screen out there, this is going to represent a tremendous value because it does utilize that mini LED technology that we were just talking about a few moments ago. So it's stunningly bright. You've got incredible contrast, and it sizes all the way up to 100 inches. Now, if you want to be a little bit more value conscious, there's still another model called the DU9000, which is available at 98 inches, and that one is very, very competitively priced as well.
What are delivery and setup options offered? NFM offers free delivery on TVs 55 and larger if you live within 45 miles. We're also running some specials on our mounting services. Right now, up until Memorial Day, we're doing 25% off our mounting brackets. If the TV is going on drywall, but not above a fireplace, the price is usually $249 to mount it. Right now, it's priced at $99. So come in and get your deals right now.
Tremendous values to be had here. So when we talk about those larger screen sizes, you're definitely going to want the delivery and installation for those, right? I've seen some people try to take some really big TVs and fit them into, I don't know if you're much of a sci-fi person, but I don't know if you know the TARDIS from Doctor Who. It's a little phone booth. When you open it up, it's actually like a massive spaceship inside. I think some folks, they'll look at their car and they're like, I can fit this 98-inch TV in there. No, you can't. You're going to want to take advantage of delivery and installation, and the deals are amazing right now.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about some of those other large screens, I think the biggest motivator for a lot of folks when they get those large screens, a lot of them are sports fans. And when you're viewing sports, I think one of the most critical things to keep in mind is fast motion. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Right? You want to be able to see where the ball got fumbled. You want to be able to see, where someone stepped over the line. And one of the great things that you're going to find on almost every single Samsung 98-inch TV, you're going to have, actually, at this point, it is every single Samsung 98-inch TV, you're going to have, at a minimum, a refresh rate of 120 hertz. Now, what does that mean for the average viewer that's out there? If you don't understand, some of those tech specs. Well, 120 hertz means this TV can refresh its picture 120 frames per second. Some of the lower end TVs that are out there will be set to 60 frames per second. Not that that's going to give you a negative viewing experience. It's still going to look fantastic, but the more frames you have, the smoother the motion that you have. And when you get up to something like our QN80, you actually get up to 144 frames per second. So now you have something that's going to give you incredible clarity for sports, but also, we mentioned it earlier, for gaming. So motion accelerator 144 hertz is something that you're going to find starting on our QN80 and higher, actually QN70 and higher, are all going to have motion accelerator 144 hertz. So anybody who's an avid gamer out there, if you have an Xbox, if you've got another gaming console, you plug it up to your TV, you're going to be able to take advantage of those maximum refresh rates. Now, the other big advantage is that all 4 HDMI ports on our TV are going to give you access to that super high speed refresh rate. So, excuse me, if you have something like an Xbox, you have a Nintendo Switch, you have other video devices that you want to connect, you don't have to unplug and plug in, and you don't have to buy an HDMI switch. The TV can handle all those connections simultaneously.
Is the glare-free good outside?
We don't recommend these particular TVs for outside for a couple different reasons. Now, the Surface itself is going to look amazing in bright light, but we actually have 2 TV models. We'll talk about them in just a few moments, called the Terrace, which are designed specifically for outdoors, because when you're talking outdoors, it's more than just the picture you got to deal with. You also got to deal with the weather, right? So we'll talk about that in just a few moments. Great lead in.
Is mini LED less expensive than OLED?
Currently, yes. So if you are a little bit more a little bit more of a value seeker, you're going to find that larger screen TVs in particular, there's going to be a pretty big delta between our mini LED large screen TVs and an OLED larger screen TV. So usually it can be anywhere from $100 to several $100. It really just depends on what your unique needs are.
Do they have HDMI?
They do. Every single TV in our lineup is going to have, at the very least, I think the lowest one that we have has 3 HDMI ports, but as you get higher and higher, you're going to have 4 HDMI ports. On some of our TVs, we'll talk about one in just a few moments, we actually technically have 5. We'll talk about that in just a few moments.
Can you cast to it?
Absolutely. One of the cool things about Samsung, we've been a leader in the TV business for a long, long time. And I think one of the things that people tend to forget is, Samsung is a very, very big company. We have a very big mobile division, and we have a very big competitor in the mobile division that we actually play nice with on the TV side. So let's say whether you're a Samsung user or you're an Apple user, you're going to be able to cast from your phone to your TV. If you have an Android-based device, you can use Smart View on Samsung devices. If you have Apple, then you're going to be able to use AirPlay 2. But on top of that, let's talk about a neat little trick that only Samsung TVs can do. Let's say you're a Samsung Galaxy user. I myself am. I've been a Samsung loyalist for a long, long time. One of the coolest features that we have is something that we call TV to phone or TV to mobile mirroring. So let's say I'm watching, a big game, a playoff game, whatever it might be. Maybe it's, the end of my favorite reality show, and I don't want to miss a moment. I got to go to the kitchen. I got to make the guacamole, but I don't want to have to lean and see, oh, what's happening? Well, one of the cool things you can do, if you have anything from our Q7F or higher, you can actually mirror what's on the TV down to your phone or to your tablet. And only a Samsung device can do this. So let's say I've got a Galaxy Tab, I've got a Galaxy mobile device. I can take whatever's on screen and cast it down. And now I can take my viewing experience with me. I can go to the kitchen, I can finish making my guacamole or my chips and dip, whatever it might be. I don't have to miss a moment. So not only can we cast to the TV, we can cast from the TV. Great question.
I have it right out.
Yeah. So some other things that I think are really important for us to cover. We talked about our super big TVs. Someone asked about the outdoor TVs. We're going to talk about what we call our lifestyle lineup. So when we talk about lifestyle TVs, it's actually a whole category of TVs. If we rewind the clock, I don't know, I guess it was about 2018 or so. Don't quote me on that exact date. It was around 2018. We launched a feature in some of our TVs called ambient mode. Because when a TV is not working, well, then it's just a giant black rectangle on the wall. I don't think everybody wants to have a giant black rectangle on the wall. Why not turn it into something that accents the space? So ambient mode allowed you to take that TV and flip it into something that gave it a little bit of a touch of design. And we've done a couple things with ambient mode, including a new AI generative wallpaper feature that's available on everything from the Q7F and higher. But we have one particular TV that takes it a step further, and it's called the Frame. If you're not familiar with the Frame TV, it's designed to look like a picture frame when it's off, and with the click of a button, it turns into a TV. The Frame has been a huge, huge success for Samsung. It also features an anti-reflection screen, so you can use it even in a super bright environment. But one of the great things about having that textured screen, that kind of matte finish, is that when it's in art mode, it makes the art feel very real. The brush strokes, the crackle of the canvas, everything looks incredibly real. So much so, in fact, I've had one in my home now for a couple of years, and it took 3 months for my brother-in-law, who's over at my house all the time. It took him 3 months to realize that it was a TV on the wall. And it wasn't until I actually turned on the TV. He'd walk by it over and over and over. He's like, I always just thought you had a big picture frame in the living room. No, this is actually, it's a TV. So it's a pretty cool device.
What is better, QLED or OLED?
It really just depends on what your unique needs are. So with QLED, in particular Neo QLED, I'd say is more competitive with OLED. So with Neo QLED, you're going to have generally a slightly brighter picture than OLED, and you're doing it at a slightly lower price point. So if you have that super, super bright room, Neo QLED might be better suited for that environment, but we are kind of blurring the lines now, because when you look at something like our S95F, it's going to be really, really close to the brightness levels that you'd find in something like our QN90F. So it's, you can kind of go either way. They're both going to give you stellar, stellar picture, and it just depends on, how much of that extra brightness you really need.
What remote options are there?
Well, that's a fantastic question. I'm holding one of them right now. So any type of cell phone that you can install the SmartThings app on. So one of our multi-device experiences that we have is within our SmartThings application. If you have a Samsung Galaxy device, SmartThings is actually built into your phone, so you don't have to do anything special. But if you have an iOS device, you can download SmartThings and you can actually use your phone to control your TV. You also have, I mentioned a little bit earlier, you have Alexa built into several of our TVs as well. So you can literally shout out commands to tell your TV to turn on, change the input, change settings on the TV. You can say, set the TV to dynamic mode or set the TV to filmmaker mode. It'll do that. But then we also have this remote here. They're actually tethered right now. So this is called the solar cell remote. I'm going to take this off here. So the solar cell remote, very, very small remote. But one of the things I love about it, there's a little solar panel on the back. So this solar panel actually allows this remote to stay charged up for upwards of 1.5 years under regular usage circumstances. Now, what's cool about this solar cell remote, by doing just that little thing, by adding that solar cell on the back, getting rid of the AAA batteries, we're keeping approximately 220 million AAA batteries from entering landfills. And what's really cool about it, so I've had my solar cell remote, my first gen, I came out, I guess, on the B series model. I've only charged it twice in about 4 years. So the battery lasts a long, long time because that solar cell helps keep that battery charged up when the remote's not in use. So that's a fantastic question.
What's the largest frame available?
Currently, it's going to be 85 inches, and I'm glad that you went back to frame, because one of the things that we're really excited to announce this year is an enhancement to the frame. Now, the frame has been out, as I mentioned, for several years now. This year, we're introducing a new model called the Frame Pro. So if you're looking to get either a 75 or an 85-inch frame, they're now going to be called the Frame Pro. Now, what's pro about it? Two big changes. So the frame for a long time has used something that we call a One Connect box. And what's great about the One Connect box is if you mount your TV, which I think a lot of us do at this point, you don't have to have all these cables or anything hanging down. The One Connect box has one tiny cable. It's super thin. So you can mount it and you can kind of hide that cable in plain sight. A lot of people actually hide it in like the grout of the grout lines of their fireplace. So really elegant way to have your TV installed on the wall. Frame Pro is going to take that a step further. The connections for all the HDMI, for your Ethernet, for your optical port, anything that you need to plug into the TV, it's now wireless. So all you have to do is power up the TV. So you will still need a power plug behind the TV somewhere on the wall, but you can have that wireless One Connect box up to 30 feet away, about 10 meters, up to 30 feet away. So let's say let's pretend this is a frame TV for just a second, right? And I've got it mounted up there, and Malachi, you got a brand new Xbox Series X for your birthday. What do you got to do? Oh man, well, I don't want to have to take the TV down, route all the cables. You don't have to worry about that. If you got a Frame Pro, you could have your One Connect box 30 feet away. It could be in a console somewhere. Now you just plug it in over there, but your picture is up here. It's a really elegant way to have your TV installed. But on top of that, the Frame Pro now uses Neo QLED technology. So it uses mini LED to give you incredible contrast. And just to give you an idea, it's about a 200% boost in contrast over the conventional frame. So much brighter, much more contrast. And of course, that wireless connection goes a long way in creating an incredible experience.
And going back to the remote, how do you charge it?
So with the remote, you've got a Type-C USB port on the bottom of the remote. It's going to be kind of hard to see. This one actually has a label over it, but it's a USB Type-C port. It takes about 10 minutes to charge it up, and that 10-minute charge will last about 1.5 years. Okay. So makes it really easy, and it's, I think, a beautifully elegant design that helps, again, the sustainability story from Samsung, just keeping all of that waste out of the landfills and keeping our environment nice and clean. Now, some of the other lifestyle products, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Let's talk about outdoor TV. It's that time of year, springtime. I walked out this morning, and here in Texas, we have a very short window of great weather. Today's one of those great weather days. So I can't wait to wrap up here and spend some time outside. So with the Terrace TV, here's the thing. You don't have to have great weather to enjoy it. So we have two models of the Terrace. We have one that is designed for partial sun. So you'd want to have it on like a covered patio or anywhere that's shaded. You don't want to have direct sunlight on the panel itself. But then we have a full sun model as well. So depending on what your needs are, if it's going to be installed in a full sun area, we've got those options available. Now, the great thing about the Terrace is it's water and dust resistance up to IP56 rating. Now, what that actually means is you're going to be protected against dust and you're going to be protected against water. It can withstand up to 30 minutes against direct water jets. So let's say, kids are doing cannonballs in the pool and they're splashing the TV. Don't worry about it. You got a Terrace TV, it's going to be fine. The sprinklers go off and they're spraying directly at the TV. You got plenty of time. You can do up to 30 minutes of those direct water jets before you have a problem. Get out there, turn the sprinkler off, redirect it. Put your dust cover on. You always want to cover your TV when it's not in use. I cover my grill when it's not in use. Definitely want to cover your TV when it's not in use. So you've got some great options with the Terrace. And on top of that, let's say you've got the picture covered, right? So the Terrace is stunningly bright. It's basically an outdoor version of our QN90. So super bright, mini LED, handles reflections really, really well. But we also have outdoor audio to go with it. So the Terrace soundbar is IP55 rated and is designed to pair with either of those TVs, so you have something that you can use outdoors as well.
Is the Frame Pro the only TV that has the One Connect box?
So it's the only one in the NFM lineup right now that has the wireless One Connect box. Now, Samsung does make one other 8K TV that has the wireless One Connect box, but all of the Frame Pros use the wireless One Connect box. The conventional frame will still use the regular wired One Connect box. So I think that, one of the exciting things with that, anybody who's ever mounted and installed a TV, it can be kind of frustrating when you have to deal with all those wires. You have to make sure everything's rated to go inside a wall. There's some very, very strict building codes here in the US, and these are things that you want to definitely keep in mind, because if you're putting cables in the wall that are not in-wall rated, and if anything were to ever spark, I don't know, a rat gets in there, you run into issues. So you want to make sure that everything is in-wall rated. Well, in this case with the Frame Pro, you don't even have to worry about that because it's all wireless. You're not putting any extra wires in the wall. So it's also going to give you that little bit of peace of mind, a little bit of safety. So,
does NFM offer TV covers for outside? I don't believe so. I believe something that's usually, we ask people buy that online.
So now, one of the other things to keep in mind with those outdoor TV experiences. So we have the Terrace soundbar, but there's a lot of other ways that you can enjoy outdoor sound. We have products called the Sound Tower, which is like our outdoor party speakers. Every single Samsung TV, by the way, also supports Bluetooth. So if you already have Bluetooth-enabled audio devices, you can always pair your audio with that. But I gotta say, the speakers on the Terrace are pretty darn good. I really recommend attaching the Terrace soundbar more than anything. But you've got plenty of options.
Does water resistant mean rain is okay?
Yes. Up to a certain point. So remember, you still have that 30-minute kind of guideline. So IP56, we always say water resistant because it's not waterproof. Waterproof is a huge claim that we want to make sure that we're really reinforcing IP56 dust and water resistance. So if you're in the middle of a torrential downpour, hurricane-like weather, definitely get out there, cover up the TV if you can, and try and keep it protected. So great question.
Is the outdoor TV heavy?
It is pretty heavy. Now, the reason for that is we have a very, very resilient housing on this TV. So when we talk about outdoor conditions, I think the biggest thing that people need to remember, so there's a couple of things that you have to combat with outdoor TV. So the first being the sun, right? So you have to have a TV that's really, really bright. A lot of times what we do is we'll tend to see people that buy some lower end TVs and they'll put them outdoors because they're like, oh, well, it's a really, great value TV and it looks good enough. It looks good enough indoors. If you take it outdoors, that TV is going to look very, very dim. So you need to have, first up, a TV that's very bright. Both Terrace TVs are very, very bright. Now, we talked about the water resistance, but the other thing to factor in is the temperature resistance and the temperature operating range. Now, I know we have viewers up in Omaha, we have viewers in Kansas City, we have viewers here in the Dallas area. We are covering the gamut when it comes to wild weather, right? So here we can get those wind chills that'll, dip below 2 degrees. We don't get a whole lot of snow, but I know up north, I'll get a lot more snow. A Terrace TV can be used down to negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you're here in Texas during those hot summer days, we can go up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. So negative 22 up to 122. So these are some very, very important things when you're thinking about outdoor entertainment. The Terrace is going to get you covered.
Can I connect to exterior speakers?
Absolutely. So you've got a couple different options. So on top of Bluetooth, you also have optical. And if you have any other sound system that you'd like to use that supports eARC or ARC audio return channel through HDMI, you're going to have that capability on the Terrace as well.
Does NFM offer TV mounts? Yes, we do offer NFM TV mounts. Right now, they're 25% off. If you come into the store, it's up until Memorial Day. We also offer some of the dedicated outdoor TV mounts to help the TV last longer as well.
Now, so we were just talking about outdoor audio, but just as important to me is indoor audio. Mm-hmm. I am a big believer. Anybody who's seen me do these trend talks before knows I can probably talk a little too long about audio. I love talking about our sound bars. So to me, audio is 50.1% of my experience. The reason that I say that is because if I'm watching, a wonderful movie and I'm viewing it, maybe I'm stuck on a plane, I'm viewing it on a tablet, but I've got some really killer Galaxy Buds that are like rumbling in my ears. I feel connected to the content, right? That's what puts me there in the seat, is the audio. Now, that being said, a picture's still important. Don't get me wrong. You want to have the best of both worlds. But one of the cool things that we've got here at Samsung, we can check both boxes. So let's step back over to the middle here. I want to showcase one of our flagship soundbars. So this is just one of the models. Now, we have a couple different versions of this. This is the Q900F. The Q900F is one of our most powerful soundbars. This is going to be a 7.1.2 channel soundbar. So I know that sounds like a lot of numbers. What does 7.1.2 mean? Well, that means you've got 7 primary audio channels. In the case of this soundbar, you have 3 that face forward, you have 2 that face the corners, and 2 that face the sides. So you're literally broadcasting audio kind of like, it's spanning out all over. You're getting a lot of coverage. Now, the 0.1, that's your subwoofer. And in this case, we actually have a dual 8-inch subwoofer. So it's a very compact subwoofer, but the bass that this thing puts out defies logic. I mean, it is extremely bassy. I wish that we could demo it here, but I don't think it would really pick up through the microphones and everything. So we've got a couple different versions of this Q900. We have another one called the Q990, which is the same soundbar, same subwoofer, but it's going to include 2 rear speakers. And those rear speakers, they actually broadcast audio upwards, sideways, and forwards. So you're literally kind of wrapping yourself in a dome of sound. And our Q900 and Q990 series have won award after award after award. So much so there's even been some tech YouTubers who said, you know what, we're tired of calling it number 1. We're going to retire it. And this year, early reviews have been nothing short of stellar on the Q990 and Q900 series. So some really incredible innovations. Now, taking it a step further, let's say maybe you don't have as much space for a soundbar. Maybe you want to have a soundbar mounted to your TV. This year, we're introducing a brand new model. I had to bring it over from another shelf, so I'm going to pick it up off the ground here. This is called the QS700. This is the world's first convertible soundbar designed for wall mounting. So this particular soundbar can be used one of 2 ways. So let's say you have it on a console, a tabletop. You would actually set it down just like this. And it's Dolby Atmos capable. You have 3 speakers on the front, you have 2 speakers on the top, and then it does come with a subwoofer as well. So you're still going to get that powerful Dolby Atmos audio experience. Now let's say you have your TV mounted to a wall. Well, sometimes people don't want to have a soundbar that sticks out like that. They think that that's kind of unappealing. So this soundbar actually has a sensor built in where you can mount it flat against the wall and have something that maintains a much lower profile, a nice slim, here, I'll hold it right back up there, so you can have it actually mounted to the wall flat and have something that doesn't really jut off the wall quite as much. So you don't get that bulky appearance. And you're going to maintain that Dolby Atmos audio and get really incredible immersive sound.
Can you put art on the outdoor TVs?
So not quite. One of the cool things that we've done with our 2025 lineup, everything from the Q7F and up, all of our QLED and Neo QLED TVs now support the Art Store. The Terrace TV, however, is going to have what we call that ambient mode. Mm-hmm. So ambient mode is still going to have some of our artwork and some like interactive, I shouldn't say interactive, but some like animated scenes, but it's not going to be our art store per se. So you do still have ways to use it to accent a space, but it's not going to be the full art store that you would see on like the Frame TV or QLED and Neo QLED TVs. It's a fantastic question.
Does the soundbar and sub need to be connected?
So they are all wireless. That is one of the biggest benefits to the Samsung soundbar ecosystem. So it doesn't matter which model you're getting. In fact, we have one model, I was hoping that I'd have one to show you. Every single soundbar that we have that supports a subwoofer, that subwoofer is going to connect totally wirelessly. And you can have it all the way on the other side of the room. So in my case, I have my soundbar mounted, not mounted, but I have it on my console right in front of my TV, and I keep my subwoofer right next to my couch because I want to feel the rumble. One of the great things about our soundbars and our subwoofers is that they're tuned so you don't get what's called localization. Localization is not a good thing from an audio perspective. You don't want to be able to tell where your subwoofer is placed. You don't want to. You don't want to have it feel like it's coming from over there or over there. It should feel like the bass is coming from everywhere, like it's rumbling the floor. So every single model in our lineup has that capability. You're going to be able to put that sub anywhere as long as it's within a reasonable range. I've seen them go up to about 30 feet away, and you can maintain that connection pretty easily. So some other things in our audio lineup. Let's say you wanted an audio device that doesn't use a subwoofer. Maybe you have a guest room. Maybe you're in an apartment or a condo and you're worried that you're going to have your neighbors pounding on the walls. Like, turn that down. You don't have to worry about that because we have a couple different things to alleviate that. So if you have a higher end soundbar like our QS700 or a Q900, we have a feature called moderate bass, which can actually turn off the subwoofer. These soundbars are still going to be fantastic even without that subwoofer. So you have that capability. On top of that, we also have soundbars that don't have a subwoofer at all. They're actually going to be all-in-one models. So like our S60 soundbar. S60 is one of my favorite soundbars. It's going to have a 5-channel layout. So you have 3 speakers in the front and 2 speakers that fire upward, 2 speakers that fire sideways. It's an all-in-one design, beautifully compact, and has Alexa built in. It can actually be connected to the TV wirelessly even, and there's no subwoofer at all. But you're going to get incredibly rich sound. So if you have an environment where you can't use a subwoofer, the S60 is probably going to be a great option for you.
We're doing a giveaway?
I actually don't have that information. I haven't been made aware if we are doing a giveaway. So great question. We'll have to follow up on that. Keep an eye on the post. They'll post all that information right there on the Facebook post. So, all right. So one of the last things that I want to talk about when we talk about audio, got to talk about lifestyle in audio, right? We talked about lifestyle TV. Let's talk about lifestyle audio. I know we're kind of getting up against time. Last thing I want to talk about is this right here, the music frame. So let's say you need to put audio in a space and you don't want to have a soundbar. You don't want to have a speaker that kind of ruins the look of the space. This is a real picture frame. This is not a digital picture frame. This is a real picture frame. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this panel off, and this is going to allow you to swap your picture out right here. So you'll take this panel off. You can put your family photo in there. I actually have one that has my 2 kids in there. And what's great about it is this is a very versatile speaker that you can use as a smart speaker. Has Alexa built in, also supports AirPlay 2, Google Cast, Bluetooth. You can do audio through Wi-Fi with Samsung SmartThings. You can pair up to 5 of them together and even create multi-room audio, or you can actually add it on as an addition to your Q series or S series soundbar. So let's say you've got a Q Symphony setup. I've got this soundbar up front, and I want to have some rear speakers, but I don't want them to kind of take away from the decor. I could mount 2 of those on the wall behind me, and I've created a practically invisible surround sound system. So music frame is a great way to kind of bring things full circle. All right. So that's kind of everything at a super high level from the 2025 Samsung lineup. I mean, we got a lot of other stuff that we could talk about, but I'm curious, any other Q&A, any questions that we haven't addressed from the audience today?
No, it seems like that's it for now.
All right. So I got to tell you, Malachi, I love coming in here. I love, for one, here at Samsung, I do get to play with some of these toys from time to time. They send me a demo unit here and there to kind of train on, but there's nothing quite like standing in front of all of them at once and being able to play with them. So if you have an NFM near you, if you're watching, I'm guessing you do, I encourage all of you to swing into your nearest NFM, check out all the TVs. Now, one of the things I think is a huge, huge benefit, every NFM is going to allow you to play with the TVs. You get the remotes mounted right next to them, so you're not stuck with just whatever content is on the demo screen. Come in, play with the buttons, go through the menus. I think you're going to find the right TV for you, whether it's outdoor, whether it's lifestyle, mini LED with our Neo QLED lineup, OLED or glare-free. We're going to have a solution that fits your specific needs. So check out your local NFM. And Malachi, I'm so happy that that you invited us in again.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. And Samsung is one of our top selling brands. We love to sell Samsung all the time for all the reasons you mentioned, as well as the ease of use. It's a one-size-fits-all situation for all types of families.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much again.
Absolutely.
And come into your local NFM. We'll see you then.